Racing League. This is the final race of the season here in Belgium. The championship is wrapped up, but there's still battles to go on in the championship order, especially third place downwards as well. Such a tight battle between third and sixth, so let's see which one of those guys come on top. But before I say anything else, I'm going to introduce Glowstick once again.
Hello.
How are you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, I'm doing good, mate. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm just excited for this last race, especially here at the Belgium Grand Prix, where we've seen plenty of chaos happen in the past. So, in the Drivers' Championship, Little One and Mazzles has first and second sealed. It's just a battle from P3 down to P6. And Dragon on Speed actually leads it. But Jay Hartnell was actually further away than I thought, so he can't get third place. But Dragon, Craigo and Ross, keep an eye on them, because they're separated by 5 points in the championship. So all to play for P3 still. We've still got some minor fights going on, especially down in 9th and 10th place as well, for the top 10 places. I don't think it's Deluxey. Yeah, he's here tonight, Deluxey, after losing quite a few positions, a few points as well in the last few races. Didn't really go his way. Saying that we did finish third at the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix, so let's see if we can cling on to that lucrative 10th place. Currently occupied by KXI 10th place, so he'll be keeping his eyes on Deluxey tonight. And George Hargreaves, who's not here tonight unfortunately, but hopefully he's here in the stream watching us, because he on his debut here in CRL in the past 7 races, he's had some amazing pace, it must be said, but yeah, fortune has not gone his way. And oh, Harry Palmer there, did you see that, Glowstick?
Yeah, I did. That was almost a disaster for him there. Lucky to save it though.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he was doing. Maybe he wasn't paying attention to the road or forgot where the road was, but thankfully he came out in one piece in the Alfa Romeo, and he continues his way then. So, Fandango makes his return here tonight. Mays is in the Mercedes after debuting in the Williams, I think it was, in the last few races. And we've got JR Mason back in the AlphaTauri there. I think he scored in the top 10 3 times this season, so he's done a good job to get inside the top 10. Just keep it out of trouble. I think he scored inside the top 10 in the last race as well. Just keep it out of trouble. And I can see some cars in the background racing. Why not? It's the final race of the season. Why not have some fun? That was a Red Bull and an Alpine. I think that was Ferguson. No, it was an Aston Martin, sorry, just further behind us then. So those two were scrapping. Well, that is a common place to spin coming out, or before Stablo. I think that is turn number 17, so unfortunately there his tyres might be a bit too hot, so they might have to cool off just a bit then. So Ferguson is the man that will take us through a lap here around the Belgian Grand Prix. 7 kilometers long as well, this track here. I'm not quite sure what it is in miles, I don't know what it's in kilometers, but anyways, this is the bus stop chicane. Hello Nathan, hello Mays, and Ferguson's in the pit lane, so he's actually not going to go for a lap time. I did mention him and the Aston Martin racing on their fly out laps, so I wonder if they came to blows at one point. Maybe didn't pick up a penalty in the process, but anyways, who's in first place? It's not Dragon on Speed, it's Craigo down in P18 then. So the man who's fighting for P3 in the championship is on his way now to make his way towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Through the hill, top of the hill, carry the full speed. DRS enabled them for this second straight, and this is the Camel Straight as we're approaching now 335 kilometers an hour, about 212 miles an hour, as we reach our first sector, which is a 30.3. Uses a lot of curb on the entry towards these corners that come up you thick and fast, carrying a lot of speed, bit of hesitation through there, gets on the throttle, and now we're making our way downhill then through Ravage and downshifted through the gears. He did touch the grass on the entry towards Ravage as well, but it didn't look like he compromised him too much. Ferguson's gone, so I wonder if that's a qualifying ban for him then. So his qualifying's done and dusted. He's just have to spectate like the rest of us and see what happens in the race then. So it's going to be a difficult way from there, because it is raining in the race, and I think an Alfa Romeo in the background has just got out wide. I think that was Harry Palmer and the Validity lap time, as Craigo now making his way towards this right-hander. I've seen a spin already from Harry Palmer, but no trouble there from Craigo. I think we've got a yellow flag. I think that's an Alfa Romeo who's gone for another spin. So that looks like Harry Palmer then. Looks like he's struggling in the first part of qualifying here, so not really getting to the grips with the track so far. But now we're making our way through Blanchimont, 320 kilometers an hour, about 195 miles an hour, as we make our way down into the final 2 corners, the slow speed corners on the track, slowest corners on the track, these two. And now coming out of bus stop chicane, it's going to be a 44.7 for the Aston Martin Craigo.
Yeah, so really good lap time there from Craigo, and can confirm Ferguson has a quali ban, but so does KXI as well. So they'll have to get back to the pits and retire the car before setting a lap time. And Little One goes provisionally pole by, what's that, like 4,000? 400s?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, mate. Mazel's then goes to the top of the time sheets.
Mazel's.
Oh, Ross,
Ross.
replaced by Ross. Times are coming in thick and fast here as the track evolution will also kick in with Van Even in P3 there in the Williams then. And he's had a difficult season, has Nacho in the Williams. It's a good qualifying performances, but in the race just can't quite seem to hook it up then. And let's hope he has a clean race here tonight, just try and get some points to round off a difficult season for him, because that's what he needs now, just a clean race for this race. Make sure there's no mistakes, no spins, because that's what's caught him out, just spins, probably getting the throttle way too early. And Fandango in his return there, he had a standout race at the back of Grand Prix. He was on course for a podium, but unfortunately too many safety cars occurred and chaos happened at the safety car restarts as everybody was eager to get ahead of everybody. But here comes Fandango, this could be pole, and it is, with a 43.9.
Nice time there. What a way to return. Did you say he's returned tonight? There's KXI retiring because of his quali ban.
Yeah, he does.
Did you
He
say
has returned.
Fandango's making a return tonight?
Yeah, he is, mate.
Well, nice to see him back, even though I've never commentated on him, but it's nice to see him back nonetheless. That's a really good time there from Fandango, actually. 4 times quicker than Ross. But yeah, don't know what else to commentate about, to be honest.
Yeah, all the times just slowly coming in with a few people invalidating their lap times. But we've got Goldstiller, the Frenchman, making his way towards that bus stop chicane. Went a bit deep in the first part, but hooked up the second part. Might cost him a bit of time. Let's see what the Frenchman has got in store for us tonight. It's going to be a 44.8, and he pops his Haas into P7 just ahead of Dragon of Speed, who's currently in the pit lane. As we've got more drivers coming out the track. And what's happened there? We've got Deluxey spinning.
Yeah, Deluxey having a spin just after turn 11. It's really close from, I'd say, 8th to 3rd, really close there, the times, only separated by about 2 tenths. Did I see someone jumping up the order there?
Yeah, it was Harry Palmer who finally set a lap time on the board of a 2 minute 30 seconds there, so a decent lap time for him, and he's got about 40 seconds to find if he could do so. But let's see if he could do that then. But I'm only joking, Harry. Obviously the man has been on the podium in the last 2 races, so can he keep it up for the 3rd in a row for the final race of the season? Came 2nd at the Mexican Grand Prix, finished in 1st in Saudi Arabia, then came, well, let's see what he does here tonight at the Belgian Grand Prix. But looks like he's struggling so far at this track, but let's see in these final 10 minutes of this session if he can finally hook it up together and get to the grips of the track. We've got Leon making his way towards the final 2 corners. Both Alpines had a decent race at the Mexican Grand Prix. Let's see where Leon can go then in the Alpine. It's going to be a 44.3. And he's just behind his teammate Ross as well. I think Leon could play a pivotal role for Ross, because Ross is fighting for P3 in the championship and only 5 points separate Dragon on Speed, who's currently down in P9 and Craig P7. In fact, we've got both Aston Martins fighting for P3 then, so I don't think no team orders, team work will be happening at Aston Martin fights for that P3.
Just on board with Harry here, I'm trying to set a lap. He's went a little bit wide coming out of turn 14 and unfortunately invalid. But these tyres are really old now. They're after this lap they're going to be 3 laps old. So he's obviously struggling on these tyres. So he must come into the pits, get a new pair on, and hopefully he'll be in midfield, I'd reckon.
Yeah, Harry Palmer, we know he's got the pace, but just struggling to hook it up so far. And we've got the Ferrari out there of Dat Roland then, and let's see what lap time he can say. I think somebody just popped to the board. That is Chris, who's gone to P3 then in the Williams. Decent lap time from him in the Williams there.
Yep, just a really consistent lap from him there. I don't know if anyone else is on the lap. Craigo is on the lap, but I think he might have made a mistake during it. I'm not sure. It's weird with the timings. Sometimes it says, like, it will say, like, it will be 2:30, and then when the time's actually done, it will say what his current time is, so it makes no sense. It's just the F122 for you guys, really. But now coming up to Radion and Eau Rouge. That's Radion, actually. But, yeah, very, good pace. Down the straight, about 210 miles per hour, almost. Coming through, Le Com, is that right?
I think it is. Yeah, it's Le Cobb.
And now turn 10, this right-hander of Bruxelles. I think it's Bruxelles or something. And now turn 11. Now coming up to the fast left-hander of Pouon. Only shifting down once. I think he broke a bit too much there, wanting to keep it safe and invalid. Now coming through turn 13, turn 14 of the left-hander of Campus. And now turn 15 of Stavelo. Middle sector, 6 times up, purple. Now it's turn 16 of Cum Paul Frere. And now famous corner Blanchimont, turn 17 and now turn 18. Now we're coming up to the bus stop chicane, breaking about 100 meter board. Turn 19 and turn 20, you really want to get this correct. And now up to the line, what's it going to be for Craigo? Is it going to be second? It is. 3,000s. 3,000s between first and second. Really close there.
Wow, Craigo there, putting his Aston Martin on the front row along with Fandango then. We've got more contenders out there. Mazel's is 2/10 down, unfortunately, in that first sector there, so he did lose a bit of time. He did seem to go a bit wide though into the fast right-hander where Giovinazzi had that crash and into that left-hander immediately. But we've got Nacho making his way towards the line. Let's see what the Williams man's got in store for us. Third place, a 44.1 then, so that's a good lap time, but I did see him make a mistake. Probably wheel spin a bit on the traction there coming out the final corner, so he's still got a little bit more time to find in that Williams. What's Harry Palmer doing? He's invalidated once again, going for another flying lap there. So Harry Palmer here on the back foot, and looks like his highlights, the spotlight in Saudi Arabia and Mexico could possibly come to an end now, with him struggling, as it were, as in the last few races he's had. But hopefully he can find something in that Alfa Romeo to get back up there. Little one as well, our championship, our champion of Tier 3, down in P9, so not where he wants to be. We've got Deluxey making his way towards Stavelo now, 16.3 in that middle sector. Down at turn number 8, glow stick. I remember that corner being called something else. I didn't know it was called Brussels. I thought it was called something else. I can't remember the top of my head as Dragon Speed goes P4, but you're right, it is called Brussels. And Lecombe, turn 4, turn 5, turn 6 and 7. We've got Deluxey making his way towards the final two corners. Been a bit deep on the first part, but in the second part gets the car rotated and back on the throttle immediately. A 45.1 then for Deluxey then, so not looking good for the Mercedes driver, or just needs a bit more pace in that Mercedes to get himself up there as he goes deep into turn number 1. MKP looks like he's struggling too out there with a 46.9. So last few races MKP has been struggling just a bit, because before the last 3 races he's been up there inside the top 10. He even won the Bahrain Grand Prix, but it looks like he's struggling so far. So I don't know if it is the tracks or the car, who knows, but hopefully he can find a rhythm. Also, I want to mention Jay Hartnell in P11, because I remember that there was a stricken car cut out of turn number 7. He crashed there, unfortunately. So Jay Hartnell there was not able to take part in qualifying, and that's his qualifying done and dusted, unfortunately. And if you do hear noise in the background, that is rain, unfortunately, which will which is ironic because it could be raining in the actual race as well. So apologies about that if you do hear it.
Yeah, and I apologise if you can hear noise in my background as well. We've got people moving down the street, so yeah, so if you can hear that, it's just a loud noise from the skip. And we've got 4 people that haven't set a time, 2 have a quali ban. 2 people, I don't know why Mays and that Roland retired, but I checked and they definitely don't have quali bans, so I don't know why they both retired. But I was just on board with Harry until he came into the pits. It was going to look like a mid 44 there from him, so it could put him into like top half of midfield.
We've got Leon now coming towards Blanchimont as he makes her way around the fast right-hander where we saw Max Verstappen versus Felipe Nasser having the battle through there, going side by side and off the track. We've got Leon making his way towards the final two corners now. Let's see what the Alpine has got in his disposal. Can he boost himself up the order? Yes, he's up into P5, but crucially ahead of his teammate, which Ross doesn't want whatsoever because his his contenders are up into P4 and P2 then, so Ross has to find some time in this last part of qualifying to get ahead of Dragon of Speed and Craigo, who looks like in a prime position in P2 and P4. I know in the Aston Martin, the Force Indias and Racing Points have always gone well around here at the Belgium Grand Prix. Force India took their first pole back in 2009 with Giancarlo Fisichella, and their first podium too in 2009 when Fisichella finished in P2. Force India have always gone strong here. Remember that 2018 when they had their problems through there, and they became Racing Point after the mid-break. And I remember the first part of the season they weren't doing too well, were they? They lost all their points as well. And after the summer break, they became much better. I think because of the performance they were having as well.
Just
slow it down.
Off track there a little. I think he's just waiting for everyone to get past so he doesn't hold him up. Obviously he's accelerating and decelerating so he doesn't get disqualified. He won't want that. He's in a quite good position at the moment in 5th. Definitely a good position to start in. Definitely you want to start in like the top 7, I would say, because you just want to basically avoid everything that will happen in midfield, because it's going to be hectic going into turn 1, I reckon.
Yeah, May's put in the chat that his retirement was due to our plan, but he's in the wrong car for that one. He's supposed to be in the Aston Martin or Alpine as it was a year ago when Fernando Alonso was in that track. But Ross is encountering traffic. He's got McLaren ahead of him. He's got quite a few drivers ahead of him actually, because they've come out of the pit lane to go on their outlaps, preparing for the final flying lap then. So hopefully Ross doesn't get in that traffic, because we've got a Haas and Alfa Romeo just further ahead of us squabbling over track position there, so this could be crucial for us here not to get impeded by these guys, otherwise...
Whoa!
Oh dear.
I think JR Mason just hit the back of Mazzles and Mazzles is out of the section. Wow.
And Ross
goes up to 3rd then.
Yeah, well, a few hundreds ahead of Nacho, just behind Craigo then, his rival for P3 as I'll call it. Craigo making his way down to turn 1. We've got Dragon of Speed 1/10 up in that first set already, so good signs. You can see him taking a wide angle, he spun! Oh, Dragon of Speed there, carrying the wide angle, carrying a lot of speed, and unfortunately has ruined his lap time.
And Gautier the Felon as well has also spun in the wall on his final lap. That'll be out of this qualifying then. Really unfortunate for the Haas driver there. Bit of a shock. I mean, I don't know what happened there between JR Mason and Mazzles, whether JR Mason just got caught out by the speed of Mazzles, or I don't know. It's a really bizarre incident, to be honest.
Fandango making his return back. His competitors around him have spun. Ross has slowed down in the Alpine. Craigo's gone out wide, but that's not a validation, so he gets away with it. What's Ross doing in that middle set? I think he's backed off of it. His ERS is blinking. Nacho's backed out. Dragon of Speed did spin. Chris in P7 flying through Blanchimont then, so keep an eye on him as he's closest towards the line then as he makes his way down at the bus stop chicane. Can anybody displace Fandango? Not Chris, because he's going to go in the pit lane, so that's his qualifying done and dusted. What about Little One, our champion in Tier 3, coming towards Blanchimont? Harry Palmer, his teammate, is coming towards the line now, and it's going to be P7, so finally gets a lap time on the board. Here's his teammate coming towards the line now. It's going to be a 43.9, and he puts it into P3. That's 3 drivers at 43.9. That is tantalising close. Fandango was 2/10 up in the middle sector, but unfortunately has invalidated it. But he's still on pole position unless anybody out there can take it away, which they can't.
Nacho, he went a bit deep at the bus stop chicane, but I don't know if he's even on the lap. I don't think he is. No, he's not. and Craigo's not in a lap, so Fandango on his return gets pole position.
Incredible from the McLaren driver, hasn't left his speed whatsoever despite being away and sorted things out between himself and his personal life, but he is back and showing us what he could do then with a 43.9. I remember the Dutch Grand Prix where he had a decent qualifying but not a decent race, but can he convert that into a good race? But watch out behind though, because they're barely separated by centimetres, and those guys there be ready to pounce, especially Craigo there fighting for P3 the championship. You can see his rival Ross in P4 with Dragon of Speed in P6 then, so Ross there sandwiched by the two Aston Martins. His teammate Leo's in P7 there, so he might keep Dragon of Speed occupied for the time being, but we'll see what happens in the race then. But that's qualifying done and dusted then. Fandango is your man on pole in the McLaren. I think last McLaren pole, I can't actually remember that in the Belgian Grand Prix. I think McLaren's last win at the Belgian Grand Prix, I think it was 2012, where Jensen Butler took that victory after Celtic 2012 Grand Prix. Aston Martin, Craigo in P2, Littlewood in P3, Ross in P4, Nacho in P5, Dragon of Speed in P6, Leon in P7, Harry Palmer will start P8 on the 4th row with Chris in P9, with Mazzles in P10. Just outside the top 10 is Gordon Fella, the two Frenchmans in P11 and P12, and might forget Jay Hartnell, Deluxe, JR Mason 54, he has got a 5-place grid penalty, so he'll start in last place then, unfortunately for him. Mazzles there, lucky to him, whatever happened, hopefully, I think one of them will have a penalty towards due to that contact, but whatever happened, I hope it gets sorted after the race and move on from there. So
yeah, I hope that gets sorted out soon. I don't know who was in the wrong, to be honest, but I'm a bit surprised from Dereloxi starting quite low down. He looked like he had great pace in Saudi until he had his incident, but I forgot what happened to Dereloxi. Did he spin out? Did he get caught up in the crash or something, in the crash that happened at turn 21 or something?
I'm not quite sure, man. I didn't really see. I was on board with Ross at the time, so I'm not quite.
Oh no, he finished on the podium. What am I speaking about? I was
Wait,
thinking of Little One for some reason. But no, I think he finished on the podium anyway. Last week. I think.
You talk about?
I think Dereluxi finished on the podium in Saudi, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so I'm just a bit surprised that he's starting quite low down. He looked like he had good pace in Saudi as well, but yeah. Maybe this isn't one of his best tracks.
That joke you made back when you said Radion, actually, I've not heard those jokes since like 2018, 2019, so it has brought back some memories.
Yeah.
That's Radion actually. But 22 laps then around this 7 kilometre long circuit, and let's see the tyre strategies that everybody's opted to go for. And it's going to be the hard tyres for the majority of the drivers except 3 of them, Ferguson, Dat Rowland and Jay Hartnell, who are opted to go for different strategies here to see what happens in the race. But as you can see there, majority of the field are on the same strategy. Remember, safety cars can occur. We've seen some people crash in qualifying. Maybe that might occur in the race as well. But Fandango there in P1 might not be the best place to start, evidently, from what happened in 2018 and 2019 there, where Sebastian Vettel overtook Lewis Hamilton on the Camel Straight twice after the famous saying, "Here comes Sebastian Vettel," and here comes Sebastian Vettel again to go finish that race in P1 in 2018 and I can't remember where he finished in 2019. I think it was off the podium as well because they were struggling with their tyres, and Leclerc went on to win that Grand Prix 2019 as well. So we'll see what happens then. Will Fandango hold on to the lead of the race after the Camel Straight down at turn number 4, or will it be Craigo or Little One? We'll find out then who has the best exit right at turn number 1 and who is tucked in right behind. Remember that 4-way battle like I talked about earlier on with the Force Indians as well, where it's Lewis Hamilton, Perez, Ocon and Vettel.
I can't believe this year it's going to be 4 years since we lost such a talented driver, Antoine Hubert. We never forget what happened. It was such a sad incident that happened, and yeah, it was really shocking as well. But yeah, we will never forget him.
Yeah, remembering Anton Hubert 4 years ago, that's been such a long time, and I can't believe how quick it's gone as well. But yeah, Charles Leclerc was able to take the victory that day in 2019, and I think, yeah, a rising star to F1 as well, as all the drivers making their way towards the grid then, and we'll see what happens at the start of the race. I remember the 2022 qualifying session where Albon qualified in P6 there, I think one ahead of one of Mercedes, or maybe both of them in fact, but Nacho there in P5 did a splendid job in qualifying. But when it comes to the race, he has his difficult moments now and then, but hopefully he can keep it all together. As we're going to wait for the lights, that a few drivers have been disqualified. We're just waiting for the guys behind to make their appearance on the grid. They're just getting the extra few centimetres and tyre warm up as well. Obviously not trying to jump the start as well, because he can disqualify you for being just in the wrong spot, as JR Mason there got disqualified himself. But we're just going to wait for the lights then. As we can see there, 3, 4, 5 lights. We are away for the final race of the season. I think Fandango's got bogged down there because he's been overtaken by the Alfa Romeo then, so he loses the lead immediately going into turn number 1 we go. Crago around the outside of Fandango. That's 2 places lost already. And looks like Crago got a bad exit because Fandango is coming back at him with the Alpine alongside. We've got a few cars off the circuit then. Little One has got a good lead. We've got an Alfa Romeo versus Haas in the background. That's Mazzles versus Harry Palmer, but Fandango then will be punched a hole in the air. Look at the straight line speed there from the Aston Martin just behind. Keeping on dragging on speed because this straight line speed's amazing down the straights everywhere we go. But it looks like Fandango will not be overtaken on this straight. Keeps in second place. Oh, Mazzles has made contact there with Harry Palmer and unfortunately gets sent into a spin. I've seen that plenty of times. But what a chaotic first lap that was. We've got 1 retirement already, which is Mighty Baguette. Glow stick.
Yeah, really unfortunate for the Ferrari there, but really unfortunate for Mazzles there. I'm not sure what quite happened with him, but yeah, I don't know if there was contact or anything, but Mighty Baguette out of this race. And I think that was at Rallion or Rouge, I'm not sure anymore. But we did say, or I did say before the race, watch out for Rouge and Rallion, and Harry Palmer now has spun at I think that is turn 15, no, turn 14 even. So Harry Palmer now losing positions.
Oh!
And Nacho! What happened to Nacho?
He must have spun coming out of Stavolo because that is such a difficult corner, especially with heavy fuel as well and hard tyres, which maybe not up to temperature. So unfortunately there, Nacho carried a bit too much speed and unfortunately has retired. I talked about his qualified performance, and in the race, just another retirement for Nacho there, and that's him done and dusted for this race. The final race of the Grand Prix, we've lost 2 already on lap 2, as we've got VSC just slowing things down. I did notice an Alpine, by the way, of Leon, who was going very slowly through the corners there. He lost an end plate, and that's why he was going slow through the corners. Everybody was on his back after Pouon, but he's in the pit lane now to change that wing, put on a fresh set of boots, and off we go racing once again once the VSC disappears. But what a start from Little One there. Fandango got bogged down. Maybe he wasn't used to the starting procedure after he hasn't been in a few races, so that's probably why he wasn't fully up to grips with it just yet. But we've still got 20 laps to go in this race then, so not over yet for Fandango. He defended beautifully. We all drained the battery down the straight to get ahead of each other, but that never happened, and Fandango remained where he was after straight, despite Crago, Ross and dragging on speed. Oh, Fandango has picked himself up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC then, and he slammed on the brakes to try and recover. Oh, he's lost traction coming out of No Name Corner, and Mays is gone. He's retired out of this race. That's exit off turn number 7. Here comes Crago around the outside then, so unfortunately there, Fandango just making a few mistakes, and that's big consequences now.
Yeah, Mays crashing where Maldonado did back in 2015, but that's really unfortunate for Fandango getting a drive-through penalty, and also really unfortunate for Mays. But that Roland going round down the inside of the felon there. What was I also going to say? KXI started in P19, now up to 8th. What a start from him. But also another great start from that Roland, Dereluxi and MKP, making up 9 and 8 positions respectively.
Yeah, incredible starts there from both of them, like you said, as DRS now is enabled then, so we might see some overtakes as Craigo sets the fastest lap in the Aston Martin then, and he's going to be under big pressure now because he's going to be the DRS train provider from the guys behind. As you can see, fastest laps setting in as we were under the virtual safety car, so we weren't fully up to speed yet, but we'll see the fastest lap tumbling down, and the fastest lap around the Belgian Grand Prix in the race was actually a 41.8 from 2020 from Valtteri Bottas, when we had those very fast cars. As you can see, Fandango's pulls to the right hand side and he makes that overtake on Craigo. I think you have to go 3 laps, then serve your drive-through penalty if I'm correct, because you can't go more than 3 laps, otherwise you get disqualified. I don't think you can serve it whenever you want. I think it's going to be after 3 laps. Is that correct?
No, it's got to be before 3 laps, otherwise
Yes.
he will get disqualified. But yeah, I was gonna say, oh, Ferguson. There we go, going down the inside of the Felon. You don't want to get caught on the curbs here, otherwise you will have a spin. For example, at Pouon, this left-hander curb can send you into a spin, like what happened to Giovinazzi a couple years back. Well, that was a nasty crash, but luckily he was okay and fine to race again. But yeah, just don't want to get caught on the curbs here. As I said, through Pouon and especially through the comms, as I've seen Chris going a little bit wide there. But yeah, just don't want to really be on the curbs here.
Yeah, I know what it's like to be on the curbs, and already Dragon Deluxe gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting or exceeding track limits as it was, so that's going to be a shame for him later on in the race. Fandango then sets the fastest lap of the race. I think he's got one more lap to serve his drive-through penalty, and that's going to tumble him all the way down into 40th place behind Mazel's ahead of Christoph then. So a lot of work to do. Looks like he's got some pace in that McLaren so far, but it's just a shame really because he has such good progress, unfortunately. And under the VSC, not the first drivers to get caught out by Delta, as we saw George Hargreaves back at the USA Grand Prix where he sped on the safety car and picked himself up a 3-second time penalty, or drive-through, sorry. Ross is right behind Craigo, but he won't be able to overtake him as they're carrying the same speed down the straight, because Craigo had DRS himself. But it looks like Fandango then is pulling away from Craigo ever so slightly. The gap was just a second and momentarily, but it's back down to 8/10 with the helping hand of the DRS. Just pushed himself back towards Fandango, but Fandango there desperately want to get out the 1 second range of DRS so he could just pull away and try and hunt down Little One, which could be quite difficult because he's got that drive-through penalty on his hands to serve. But once that goes away, let's see what speed he has. Maybe he just stayed out there for a potential safety car. Mind you, that if a safety car does come out now, that'll help Fandango quite a lot to reduce that penalty, as he won't lose a lot of time. But yeah, he just hopes someone crashes out right now, so that safety car does get triggered, or virtual safety car. But yeah, the first VSC was the reason why he picked up a drive-through penalty. Why is Fandango staying out? That's a good question. I'm not quite sure. Maybe just to pull the gap on the guys behind. Oh, I'm not quite sure, to be honest. But he.
Ooh. That Roland and KXI going side by side down Blanchimont, that was really good racing there, and Fandango rightfully pitched because of his drive-through penalty. But that Roland getting a bit wide on the curb didn't go wide enough to get a warning or anything, just almost derated because of that curb being quite high. But yeah, gets the move done on KXI.
A good move there from that road, and it goes side by side. Obviously he's on the medium compound tyres, but Ferguson then is alongside KXI. He had a bad exit, but the KXI using the ERS to try and just stay ahead. Now, does he have the DRS? No, he's 1.1 second behind then, so he might have no DRS on the straight. He could be exposed down the straight now because Ferguson does not have the DRS. So they must have been side by side on the detection point, and therefore nobody had DRS then. So lucky there for KXI not to get overtaken by Ferguson. Mind you, those guys ahead on the medium compound tyres, so expect them to be quicker. That was McLaren there going a bit wide. That's MKP up into P6 after having a dismal qualifying there. So one McLaren drops and one rises, and MKP there up into P6 with Fandango down in P12 just ahead of JR Mason. Let's see what recovery drive Fandango could do, because he had good pace in the first few laps of this race, but let's hope he can repeat it then to show us a comeback drive, which he deserves good points from after missing a few races due to personal stuff. But he's back here tonight in the McLaren, and replacing Quick Colour as it was in the last race as well, where we saw in Saudi Arabia that chaotic race as well in Saudi with Tier 1 and Tier 3 as our commentator were both chaotic with a lot of safety cars being deployed, and Ferguson going a bit wide as well coming out of turn number 16 as MKP has dropped away from P6 there. There was a slight yellow flag, and that's for a Alpine of Leon there, who's unfortunately not suffering a bad race, but MKP that has just been overtaken, and that roller has moved up into P6 in the Ferrari.
Yep, MKP moving up, and now Ferguson also moving up, and Leon, I don't know what's happened to his pace during the race. He's just keeps spinning, really. He keeps having these slight errors and mistakes. I don't know what's up with him at all, but little one, a 2.6 second gap almost to Craigo. He's having a really good race so far, a really commanding one as well. But let's see who's got DRS, who's not got DRS. Ferguson's got DRS, MKP. Let's watch on board with MKP going for a move on that Roland. That Roland, really good defense there, and he's hit. MKP's hit the back of Roland, and Roland getting a bit squiggly because of that. Hopefully he shouldn't have a puncture, but well, if it was realistic he would have had a puncture, but no. MKP just braking a bit late. That was a really good defense though from that Roland until he got hit by MKP though.
Yeah, MKP there causing the back end of that Roland just to oversteer there off the track, and it's just cost him 4 places as well towards MKP KXI. And look further behind, we've got Fandango versus Gortilla Fellinen, and he goes around the outside. Oh, that was so close there. Gortilla Fellinen is struggling, by the way. Look at that, he really is struggling around this track, because I've noticed him understeering quite a lot in the last few laps of this race as well, so he's really struggling. Maybe he's got slight front wing damage that I can't evidently see, but we've got Ferguson right to the back of KXI once again. Look at Harry Palmer there with the straight line speed coming at him side by side now, and he's fully ahead before Blanchimon. What a move there. The straight line speed on that Alfa Romeo helping him to get past him. He's going to send one down the inside. No, he does not for the time being. But what a pace advantage that was for Harry Palmer to get past him. Now they've got DRS on the straight once again. Looks like Ferguson's got better exit there with better traction on those medium compound tyres. Now they're going side by side. Heading into turn number 1 we go. Ferguson with the inside lane there, making a move on Harry Palmer. But with Harry Palmer's straight line speed, will he be able to get him back on the Camel Straight there? But they'll all have DRS on the back of MKP. Will be sitting duck down the straight, but as you can see there, Harry Palmer all over the back of Ferguson, just having to lift off there in the dirty air, and as you can see now, all bunched together. And let's see which one of them will make a move down into Le Calme. Harry Palmer's so close, but not close enough, as he has to back out because there was no room to go down the inside into Le Calme at turn number 4 there. And Harry Palmer has to wait again. But look at that, we've got that Roland who spun. Oh, he's lost his rear wheel as well, and he's retired out of the race then. And is this a safety car, I wonder? Just lost it on traction up the hill there. That is such an easy place to drop it as well. Carrying a lot of speed, getting the back on the throttle without losing traction, and beating the dirty air cost him as well. And unfortunately he's out. Yep,
same place where I think that's where Nacho crashed as well, or was it Mays? I'm not too sure. And Leon has now retired in the pit lane. He was having such a difficult race. That's really unfortunate for Leon, but that Roland crashing and out the race. But I'm not going to say it was a puncture because of MKP, because that's exactly where MKP hit him, where that tire came off. But,
oh,
yeah. And what's happened here? Why is there a yellow flag? The felon spun.
Hold up, we got a battle.
Yeah, yeah, sorry. Yeah, we got a battle here.
Yeah, that's Harry Palmer versus Ferguson. That was in the final corner of the bus stop chicane then. So Harry Palmer broke later than Ferguson, got him around the outside, and he moves himself up into P8. He's all over the back of KXI, essentially just pushing him down the straight then. And Ross is 1.6 seconds behind them, so he's exposed towards Dragon on Speed. I think Dragon on Speed is about to make a move. Both Aston Martins are on the podium, but not yet though, because Ross breaks later, goes later on the brakes. We've got Ferguson who spun as he crashed out. He kept his ERS on as well, so that may be a bit of an issue there for the the Red Bulls, because I did notice that Ferguson, dragging on speed! I noticed the gap went from 2/10 to 1 second at one point, 2.79. 2.9 now, unfortunately. Dragon of Speed there just lost it coming out of turn number 7 there, and now he has to get that time back. The gap is 3.4 then, so Ross there will be happy that's happened because he'll be relieved of the pressure from Dragon of Speed. Now he can focus on Craig go ahead, and let's see then if now the pressure's been lifted off Ross's shoulders, can he close that gap down towards Craigo?
Possibly, but Ferguson has got front wing damage as well. His whole front wings came off because of his spin at, I'm not even going to say it, turn 3, 4 and 5, because there's going to be arguments. It's Radion, it's Eau Rouge, so I'm not even going to say Radion or Eau Rouge, I'm just going to say the turns. Yeah, he's lost his, it is either Radion or Eau Rouge.
It's both. Let's just say it's both.
Yeah.
But look at Harry Palmer. This is the we get squeezed on the grass. And they're going side by side like Max Verstappen and Felipe Nasser. There goes off the track, but does he make a lunge down the inside to complete the move? There going into the bus stop chicane now once again. Then they're ever so close as Harry Palmer has the outside line. Does he get better traction? He certainly has DRS. And in the background here comes Fandango as well. He's squeezed in the middle, nowhere to go for Fandango as they both go late to the brakes. It's turn number 1. KXI just a bit wide coming out of turn number 1. Then Fandango takes advantage of that one. And now his next target is Harry Palmer. And what a battle there between Harry Palmer and KXI there. Caden unfortunately has to yield out of that one. And Harry Palmer struggled up the hill there. This could be Fandango's big opportunity to get Harry Palmer going on this Camel Straight. But I think Harry Palmer does not have the DRS then, and therefore is exposed as Fandango moves himself up into P7. And his next target ahead is his teammate who's just ahead of him.
Yeah, but yeah. Ferguson coming into the pits now to get rid of that front wing, because obviously he broke his front wing, and now the Felon has gotten past him as well because of that. But yeah, that was a nice little battle in Fandango. Oh no, that was MKP even losing the rear end coming out of Brussels now. But yeah, what little battle that was between Fandango, Harry, and KXI. That was really nice to see. And now KXI is going down the inside of MKP. Has he got the move? Yes, he has. Nice move from KXI there.
Are those rear tyres start to overheat just a bit for MKP there? Possibly. It did seem like he was losing a bit of traction coming out of the slow speed, high speed corners there. Unfortunately, he's lost 3 places in the process as well, relieving his teammate to go up to P6 there. But still, Harry Palmer is on his tail. Deluxy, we haven't really mentioned in this race, started in P14, had a dismal qualifying, but he's up in there to P5. He's got a 3-second time penalty over his name, but the gap behind him is quite massive with a 6.5 second advantage he has over Fandango, who's under pressure now. Could see a five-way fight once again then, and Mazel's making a recovery drive as well. He started in P10 and still is in P10. But yeah, KXI has gained the most places from P19 to P8. We didn't really see him due to a qualifying ban. 4 drivers retired in that session because MKP has picked himself up another penalty. I say another, that could be his first one. I'm not quite sure how many he's picked up. Yeah, it's his first penalty of the race then. Can't be doing that more times because otherwise they lose a lot of time just in case there is a late safety car towards the end of this race. But there's no battle for the lead or second place so far, but it's all quiet except from P6 downwards. And yeah, this is a typical Belgian race where we don't see too much action, but it's just all one big DRS train if it does happen. But we see a few people coming out of no name making a few mistakes now and then, just dropping the rear end of the car. And where else is it? Down at turn number 4 as well. That's what cost Dragon of Speed big time. He's actually lost time again. The gap was like 3.2 last time I saw it. Now it's 5.2. So unfortunately there, Dragon of Speed is struggling once again as the German driver in the Aston, looking to make it a double Aston Martin podium. And Craigo there would dearly love that too, because that means Ross would be in P4 and he will secure second in the championship. I'm not quite sure what the difference between P2 and P3 is in terms of points in the championship. I haven't done my research at all, as I never do. But you can see Maslow's there right behind MKP coming towards Blanchimon. And let's see if Maslow's there will force a move up the inside. No, he doesn't. He stays behind for the time being. Does the Danishman in the Haas. And now he's coming out the final corner with the helping hand of the DRS, with a lot of ERS at his disposal too. So let's see when he decides to pounce on the McLaren then as we head down into turn number 1. But I think as always, everybody will wait for the second dose of DRS as it's a big straight as well. Mazel's using the ERS to just stay closer towards MKP. And now we're making our way up towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Carrying a lot of speed, about 180 miles an hour through those corners, maybe flat out 190 miles an hour. But Mazel's there, pulling to the left hand side with the helping hand of the DRS, and he moves himself up into P9. Then looking for a recovery drive after getting hit in the back. We didn't really see what he could have done in the final part of qualifying because JR Mason there hit the back of him going into the bus stop chicane where he crashed. And that's why JR Mason started last, but he's up into P11 so far, so he's gained 9 places. But his teammate's up into P8, so both AlphaTauris on the move there, making progress, but it's not a lot of action going on there so far.
Yeah, mate, but I don't know what even happened. MKP spun at P1. I think it could be his tires. You might be having problems with tires. This is around the time where they're around like 40, maybe even 50% if you're pushing on them hard. But yeah, I reckon the drivers would be struggling around now, to be fair. So it's not surprising that someone has spun on him. It's unfortunate for it to be MKP now, and Jay Hartnell has spun now. He's in the wall. He's lost his front end plate as well, so we have to come into the pits and get that repaired. But yeah, and has he gone again? No, he hasn't. But it's unfortunate as well for it to be MKP. Of course, he was in. What was he in the top 5, or was he in? No, he was in P6, wasn't he? Until he had that little error coming out of Brussels, turn 11. But yeah.
Yeah, once you make one error around this track, it's always on your mind, and that's what you'll be thinking about, just saving the car rather than push as hard as you can. But as you can see there, the gap between second and third is still the same, 1.6. It's been hovering around that gap all the time. Ross just unable to find those extra few tenths he wants to get in the DRS. Oh, Craigo, very important for him not to make one mistake there and allow Ross in his DRS, because once someone's in your DRS, that's going to be very hard to get yourself out of as well. So make sure he keeps that gap over 1 second. He's got 8 tenths in spare in hand to stop Ross from doing that, but Craigo's got 10 laps to try and keep him behind or keep him out of his DRS, and let's see what Ross could do in P3 as well. Ross is at a I don't know, it's been an up and down season for Ross so far. He comes out of nowhere sometimes in races. Harry Palmer, I think Fandango's made a mistake again coming out of turn number 14 there, and he's dropped a place. He's down into P7 now with Harry Palmer taking advantage of that then, and Ferguson gets a 3-second time penalty. But Ross, the man who won in Mexico, and he actually retired as well at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, whereas his rival Straggler Speed and Craigo finished in P4 and P5. So Ross lost a huge amount of points there in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And another McLaren driver who's struggling, which is MKP, who's fallen down in the order into P13 he goes. So not a good race so far from McLaren, but however, one car still inside the top 10, scoring a decent amount of points for them. So let's hope Fandango keep that up to try and get a result for McLaren. But yeah, Ross has been an interesting one for me this season because he's been there and thereabouts, but he has one good race. The next race he just has some issues, and he retired at Austria as well, so that's 2 retirements in a few races, and then he retired again at Singapore, so that's a lot of points lost there for Ross. And who knows what he could have done if he didn't lose those amount of points, because he finished second at Portugal. And where else did he have a good result? I'm trying to look at the grid. He finished P4 in France. I think he won a race as well. He finished P3 in China and Brazil, so he had a good start to the season, did Ross. Finished P8 in Monaco. And it's not everyone's favourite track. P4 in France. But yeah, it's just... Yeah, he actually won the Grand Prix in the chaotic Dutch Grand Prix. I did Ross. But yeah, he's been one to watch for me so far, and if he has consistency and keeps out of incidents, he'd be way up there. But yeah, there's been a few Celtic times in the last few races where something's just happened, and yeah, Ross has unfortunately been collected that instant, or suffered from it in terms of strategy. Because last few races had DNFs as well, and that's costing him a huge amount of points to Dragon Speed and Craigo. But he's too far behind to do so, to make any impressions on Craigo. Not too far behind, but obviously in terms of racing, it is far behind, because you want to be in a second of somebody to keep that battle on and pressure on and try to overtake him towards the end. This is a normal race where, you know, DRS training, you fight them later on, but this track there just being difficult once again. A few huge gaps are being developed as well, but we've still got a battle for P7 going on.
Yeah, it's actually P6, and no, Fandango is spun as well now. He's spun again. Both from McLarens, looks like they're having tire wear problems, maybe going for more lower downforce setups. That's why maybe they're spinning and struggling on these older tires. But is it me, or does it look a bit darker now, Jamie?
Yeah, I was looking at my phone to look at the results, then I looked up and I saw the dark clouds there. So, they did say there was going to be rain in the race, and I wonder if the weather now is changing towards the changing now towards the wet weather, and the drivers might have to be prepared for that one too. So let's see if rain does occur in the race. As Jay Hart now starts the fastest lap of the race, his glow stick has left the session again, so that's the third time, and his internet connection issues have been proving difficulties again. But the only battle we've got out there on the track so far is P7 and P8 then, so apologies for... Well, you can't always have an interesting race, let's say that at least. There's always going to be one boring race, and this could be this one, but oh well, we'll take the battles anywhere on track we go. Mazel's in P8 there. I noticed the man has suffered internet connection issues this season, and I'm actually intrigued by his results as well, because I know he's been in P2 quite a few times this season as Mazel's. He's been in P2 3 times as I'm looking at the results now. It's near towards the end of the season where he's supposed to pick up his podiums. He scored a podium. J.R. Mason's up into P9. This could be another consecutive top 10 finishes. Fandango's made a mistake again. But 4 podiums, Mazel's had 5 actually from the winning the Monaco Grand Prix. So that's why Mazel's is high in the championship. He's had 5 podiums this season as the Danish driver. One of them was a win, and he's currently P2 in the championship. That's why no one can catch him. But yeah, let's say his internet connection issues, his wheel issues as well, has cost him a bit. I'm not saying it could be a championship decider. It must be said, like, it could decide a championship, because Little One's been up there the whole season. But Mazel's has a few mistakes of his own as well. All these hard tyres going to be cooked pretty soon. I agree with that one. But they're shortening their distance, aren't they, towards the mediums? Once they get off the mediums, there's only about 5 laps to go. Once they get the medium compound tyres, hence why the hard's the best to go on, and they're going to be pretty slow towards now, but it shouldn't be too bad. As Glowstick, you're back, mate. Left again. Don't leave me all the time.
Yep. The internet problems making a return, a sad return. But I should be joining back into the session soon, or in a second maybe.
I wonder what track MKP's on, because we're on the dry circuit and MKP has put on the intermediates, and I'm trying to look for spots of rain just occurring on my screen now. I'm not quite sure if it is raining. Let me just turn off the my system, my AI system, AUI, whatever it is. And no, it's not raining so far in this race. So MKP there, just day too early, a day too late, and a dollar short, as Martin Buddha will say it. But yeah, it looks like it's a Pierre Gasly situation back in Hockenheim, where they fitted the wet tyres on a dry track. Kimi Raikkonen as well, and Fandango has overtaken J.R. Macy. He's back up into P9 now, where he was before that spin, or after that spin. But yeah, Fandango there, maybe just having that mental effect on him after being in a very good position, and essentially has nothing to lose. Oh,
I do see it raining on my bit, or on my end even. It's raining, but I don't think it's hard enough now to where the drivers should come in. Usually when I come in, it's usually when it says DRS is now disabled. That's when I usually come in for like either wets or intermediates.
Or may I just follow everybody in and see what happens, because I'm not quite sure when is the best out of it. But obviously maybe they'll start for one lap more because the track's still dry. Just needs a bit more, or just needs to be a bit more wetter for the inters to be fitted on. We've got Jay Hart now on the inters as well. But let's see then who makes the right call. I think Little One's got a good margin over second place to make the bad decisions and still be in first place. But obviously don't want to risk it there. DRS is disabled there, so it is time for the inters. And it's going to be 5 laps there. So that one tyre rule is out of the window for these guys because they don't have to go to hards to mediums. They'll be going from hards to inters, the top 10 there. Hence why they've gone for a very long strategy on those hard compound tyres. I know everybody there going to be very careful in that pit lane too because it's such a tight pit lane entry. We saw Kimi Räikkönen hit that wall as well on the entry towards the pit lane. As everybody's in the pit lane then, and Ross actually closed the gap down to 1.2, but just a bit too late now because it's a difficult track to overtake to begin with, as the Red Bull of Ferguson, no, that's, yeah, it is Ferguson, in P12 spinning, unfortunately. He's still on the hard compound tyres then, so he's struggling out there on those hards. Dragon Speed doesn't really have to double start because his teammate was quite far ahead, so he won't lose any time, hopefully. Let's see how the German driver lost a little bit of time, but not too much, as the pit crew there was getting ready for the second man in the Aston Martin. He should come out safely where he was to begin with in P4. And Harry Palmer there into P5. Been a strong drive for Harry Palmer so far, despite his struggles in qualifying, hasn't it, Close Stick?
Yeah, he has had quite a good race, I would say. He has had a few errors, a couple of spins, and speaking about spins, Ferguson losing it again, obviously that's just showing that it is time for inters. But yeah, this will be a good result for Alpha again, even though they've won. I think they've secured well, obviously Little One's secured the drivers, but I'm not sure if they have secured the constructors as well. But this will be a good result nonetheless from both of them if they stay this way.
Indeed, and Ross has closed the gap down under a second, as that's the wrong time to do so because he wanted to do that before the rain came, but now during the rain now the rain has arrived. It's gonna be very difficult to overtake no matter how good your downforce is, because it's just overtaking around here on a wet circuit, any wet circuit. It's just so difficult. But let's see if Ross can force Crago into a mistake. That's always an option, to force into a driver into another mistake. But Crago there, as shown in the last few races, got a decent calm head on him, so he should be able to sustain that pressure. As MKP, I think, at Eau Rouge has gone for a spin, and he's lost his front wing there, unfortunately. And that's almost a full lap around the track to come back in the pit lane and put on a brand new front wing and a set of tyres to go with it too. So bad race coming from MKP. But Ross 1.1, when you get in the dirty air, it's just quite hard. But look at Harry Palmer. He's 9/10 behind Dragon of Speed, so he's found a lot of time on the German driver. Maybe the German driver is struggling because we know he likes to go for low downforce setups, as I've seen in the past. His straight line speed is amazing, but that won't help now. It will help on the camel straight, but in corners he'll be struggling. That's where Harry Palmer can pounce. So let's see there how Dragon of Speed can handle the threat against Harry Palmer. Just keep it nice and tidy in the corners and obliterate your EOS on the straight then, as you'll be struggling through Eau Rouge and Radion. But he gets a decent exit. No, he gets a 3-second time penalty. Just exceeded track limits there. That wasn't even fully off the track as well. Just touching the white line. And that was enough to get himself a 3-second time penalty on board with the German driver there out of turn number 5. Guilty as well. Oh, Dragon almost lost it once again. He slided through the corners through turn number 6 there, coming into turn number 7. And you don't want to be doing that anymore to light up those rear tyres, otherwise he'll be sliding a bit more as well. So Dragon of Speed there might be feeling the pressure, but saying that though, he's got a 3-second time penalty, so I dare say shouldn't be feeling any more pressure because Harry Palmer's right behind him and essentially got nothing to lose now. Just fully go for it.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Dragon there, getting the 3-second time penalty. But it looks like Crago is kind of closing the gap to Little One. Of course, Little One was like 10 seconds ahead before the pit stops. But yeah, one thing I would mention as well, I hate seeing McLaren spin in Upper Rouge. Of course, we've seen Lando Norris do it in qualifying back in 2022, or no, 2021. Yes, sorry, 2021. And MKP has now unfortunately retired um, from the race. But yeah, of course, yeah, we're just seeing MKP spinning there, losing his front wing. Fortunately, not out, but he did retire in the pit lane. So yeah, just unfortunate from MKP there. But now we see Harry getting really close to Dragon.
Last time we saw rain towards the end of the Grand Prix, I think it was at the 2008 Belgian Grand Prix. We saw what happened there with Hamilton and Raikkonen having their battles. Once the rain came down, they were all struggling in the wet conditions, and that's what happened. That's what led for Kimi Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton to have that incredible battle that the bus stop came where Hamilton went off the track, gained an advantage, and overtook Raikkonen immediately down into turn 1. He actually got a 10-second penalty as well, added towards the end of the race, where Felipe Massa actually won the Grand Prix, despite not being in that battle, as Kimi Raikkonen crashed out at Blanchimont after can't stay on the track due to the dry tyres. And I think Sebastian Bourdais actually gained a lot of places because of that as well. I think it's Bourdais, I think it was Bourdais, because Buemi came in at 2010. Get a bit confused between both Sebastians there, Buemi and Bourdais, but Bourdais was Vettel's teammate. And obviously, I think one race later, when the wet conditions came again, Vettel top pole position at the Monza Grand Prix, and Bourdais qualified 4th, but I think he stood at the grid, or the edge he would start, and he didn't start there. I think he started at the pit lane, and Vettel went on to win at the Monza Grand Prix. But yeah, rain came down. If you haven't watched the 2008 Grand Prix, maybe you're too young or couldn't remember it, go watch it, because it was a chaotic race with Hamilton and Raikkonen there, and loads of other drivers got off the track. I think Fernando Alonso took advantage as well, switching over to the intermediates. And KXI has retired. Could this trigger a very late safety car? Because no, where is he retired? That's Stabilo, I think it is. Yeah, it is Stabilo. So I saw two drivers there who were stationary at the pit stop, and Stabilo, I didn't know which one it was, but it looks like one of those drivers got going again. Unfortunately, KXI has retired. But Ross, what's he done? Oh, I know what he's done. Oh no, that is not great whatsoever. So a yellow flag came out at the first sector. I think he was behind Ferguson, but because Ferguson's a ghost, he overtook him, and he had to give that place back because it was yellow flags. You can't overtake one of the yellow flags, no matter who it is, if it's a driver you're fighting for position or a back marker, and that's what's probably happened then. So unfortunately there, Ross getting a penalty due to back markers, and that's his fight ended, unless he could get it removed, unless it was a legit penalty. I'm not quite sure, but that's definitely dead to his chances of gaining P2 now.
Yeah, really unfortunate for us. I'm not too sure what happened there, to be honest. Really unusual. But yeah, because Ferguson is obviously an AI. I don't know if he's lagged out. Oh no, he's back in the car now. Because it's not all ghosty anymore, I guess. But he's back in his car and back up to racing speed. But just another notice, Little One's still losing a bit of time to Craigo. Obviously Craigo must have a bit of a higher downforce setup compared to Little One, but yeah, just gaining time on Little One little by little every lap.
And Chris then becomes another retirement here at the Belgian Grand Prix. Whilst you were talking, Harry Palmer and Dragon of Speed had a battle there, getting so close at Pouon, but Dragon of Speed was just able to stay ahead of Harry Palmer. Evidently got better corner speed in comparison to the Aston Martin there of Dragon, who's carrying a less downforce, and therefore that's why he's struggling in the corners. But Dragon of Speed holding on dear life is the German driver, doing a mighty defence against Harry Palmer there. He's got 2 more laps left of it as Dragon of Speed. We've seen him sliding through corners, but one more slide, Harry Palmer will be through, because he's so close. Is Harry Palmer, but not close enough, I don't think. And can he get a decent run coming up through Haut Rouge and Radion, which is quite difficult to go have a good run through here, being in the dirty air and in wet conditions, and more chance of spinning through there. But I don't think he's got the straight line speed to try and overpower Dragon of Speed. But no, he hasn't, so he has to stay behind for the time being then. So Dragon of Speed, its advantage is on the straights, as Harry Palmer is in the corners, but there's a lot of corners around this circuit, 20 turns, or 19 I must say, around this circuit. Dragon of Speed there We're desperate for the last lap to come very quickly because this is a horrible time for Dragon Speed. It's going to be putting him under so much pressure and therefore more chances of mistakes there for Dragon. You just want to keep Harry Palmer at bay for a long time. This is where they had the battle glow stick at this particular corner, went side by side, and Dragon Speed just stayed ahead of him. And Harry Palmer there not able to go side by side once again, as Dragon has the advantage over him.
I think, to be honest, I think Harry's got the better straight line speed. He just gained little by little every time they were on the Camel straight. But I don't know, honestly, if maybe Dragon's just struggling with maybe the wet temperatures. Maybe he was just practicing dries, not anticipating any rain at all. But Harry just getting really close now to Dragon. Of course he'll get him anyway because of the penalty, and now, as I just noticed, we are on the final lap.
Yes, we are indeed. Little One, ever since the start of the Grand Prix, who took the lead into turn 1, has never looked back since. And he's controlled, dominated, as Ross is right behind Craigo, but it won't matter now because he's got a 3-second time penalty. So Craigo then, no need for spins, no need to push. He's got third place in the bag in the Drivers' Championship. Just needs to keep it nice and clean then. So unfortunate for Ross, who tried his best at least, but yeah, being in the Aston Martin sandwich hasn't helped whatsoever. Once he's shaken off Dragon Speed, he tried to put the pressure on Craiger, but just wasn't enough for him. And then he picked up a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags because of a Red Bull. And now he's got a 3-second time penalty, so there's no way past Craiger unless he spins, of course. But I don't think Craiger would do because he's too wise, he's too calm, level-headed not to do that. But the main battle, the main focus is now for P4 between Dragon and Harry, and Mazel's in P6 who started in P10. Deluxe had a quiet race in P7, haven't spoken much of him down there, but he's had a quiet race which he really needs as well. And he is not under pressure from anybody. Fandango unfortunately be caught up with a few spins, but still inside the top 10. J.R. Mason is on his way to score inside the top 10 once again. I think that's going to be for the 4th consecutive time. J.R. Mason is going to do that, just keeping out of trouble. But we need to find out what happened in qualifying. Ross is right behind Craigo. Is this going to be a send down at the bus touch kick? Going to keep him nice and tight, of course, because he knows he's got a penalty. But is this going to be a last lap move? No, he doesn't. Will he force Craigo out wide? No, because Craigo knows where to brake. As Little One wins the Grand Prix then with Craigo in P2 ahead of Ross in P3. Dragon Speed, does he hold on towards P4 there with Harry Palmer still putting him under pressure? Yes, he does. Then there's no way for Harry Palmer to make his way then. So Dragon Speed, despite all that pressure, has managed to hold on to P4. No, he doesn't, because he got a 3-second time penalty, so he dropped down into P6. But Dragon, but I don't think he'll care about that one. Maslow's in P5 there ahead of Harry Palmer then. So not a bad day from Harry Palmer after a few disappointing qualifying, but still up there in P4. Deluxe in P7. Both Aston Martin, well, both Deluxe and Dragon had a podium together at the Bahrain Grand Prix. And Deluxe got another one at Saudi Arabia. This time he finishes in P7. Fandango in P8, unfortunately for him, after having pole position. But yeah, that penalty just caught him out at the VSC. Gordon Felon coming towards the final 2 corners now in the Haas. Just keeping Gerald Mason behind. He actually overtook him as he makes his way towards the line. Then it'll be P10 because of J.R. Mason hasn't got a penalty. And here comes the 2 Red Bulls. Then despite all their troubles, Fergus has already crossed the line because he's a lap down. So Jay Hartnell then is the last man to cross the line, and he'll finish in P11. And Jay Hartnell, his standout race for me was Austria, when he won that one on old tyres, because he had older tyres compared to the others, and he kept them all behind despite being on the old hard compound tyres versus newer mediums. So that's my standout drive for him in Austria. But fortunately after that, couldn't really quite hook it up together. But his season's been up and down as well, like everybody else here. He's just had one race where it stands out, the next race he just tumbles down, and you get decent results now and then.
Yeah, what a race from Little One then, leading every lap. Just he had such a brilliant start as well. Just getting the launch on Fandango, and who was it in second? Was it who was it actually? Craigo. Was it Craigo? Was it? It was.
Yeah, he started
I don't
P2.
even.
He started P2, didn't he? Finished in P2.
So pretty consistent race from all the drivers. Well, not all all drivers managing to finish anyway. As Jay Hartnell has gotten the fastest lap, I just realised. Or has the fastest lap even. But yeah, just really consistent from everyone basically.
I'm going to go do podium interviews that we interviewed little one last time back outside Arabia when he won the championship. Now we're going to interview him because he's won a race, because he finished in P13, actually retired from Saudi Arabia, but still it was enough to clinch him the championship. And now I'm going to speak to him once again here in Belgium. I know. And if Ross wants to talk in the comments, that's fine by me, like he did. I know everybody doesn't want to be on stream, so that's fine by me. I understand. I don't think Little One has much to speak about really if he does join the podium interview, because his main highlights would be I overtook them into turn 1 and pulled away ever since. All the drivers have been begging me for podium interviews all season, and then when it comes to it, no one joins. Usually he'd be here by now. Let's see if Ross is in the comments. If he is, then we'll talk to him through there.
Mm. Oh,
Little One is here. And let's see if Ross is in the comments then. If he is, Ash, just tell me you're there, and I'll tell you what I'm going to say. But we'll start with Little One then. Yeah, Ethan. Just amazing season overall. We interviewed you last week due to the winning the championship, but interviewing once again because of the final race of the season. And there's not much to talk about really, because this race you dominated it all, didn't you?
First of all, I want to say apologies for the microphone quality. It's coming through my controller. And secondly, yeah, it was kind of easy to be fair. A little tricky when the rain came down, but me and Harry had planned for this and changed setups accordingly. So, yeah.
And I just want to say massive congratulations for winning the race, babe, because you just dominated it all. I don't know what to say really.
Yeah, I think surprisingly enough, I started practicing at 6:30 today. I guessed the setup, and it turned out to be a really good setup with quite low tyre wear. And obviously having to stretch the hards, it really helped us out today.
So, did you know on your weather radar that the rain was coming?
Yeah, me and Harry checked just before. We knew that there was going to be some rain later on in the race, but it was just about when it was going to drop. But again, we planned for it. We knew that the hards could probably go longer than the expected life, like they're meant to last 16 laps. And I think we got to lap 16 and then we were like on 60 odd tyre wear, which isn't that bad. It's manageable. And then when we finished, I think I was on like 73 or something like that. So yeah, we took all of this into consideration.
And the only time we spectated you was lap 1 as well. Talk us through your move, because you got both of them. You got Craigo and Fandango down at turn number 1. That must have been really good for you. But did you, ever since after turn number 1, once you got in the lead, did you feel like you're going to be under massive pressure from Fandango and Craigo all the way up the hill towards the Com?
To be fair, I think Fandango was my real competitor today, and then when we got that VSC come out and I saw they had a drive-through, I was like, okay, cool, it's just about bringing it home now. Making sure we were nice and consistent. Obviously, we knew that the rain was coming later on, and tried to keep warnings down to a minimum, which thankfully we did in the dry. 0 warnings, which pretty decent. But yeah, I think if it was a straight fight, I think Fandango would have had me.
You think?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, great pace, but unfortunately in the race he just had a few spins now and then. He did get under massive pressure though, because I think he had a bit of a moment cut out of turn number 1, and he had Craigo and Co all over the back of him, so he couldn't really get past those guys, like detach them to able to catch you. So then he had that VSC penalty, which probably played a mental effect on you. Do you know when you have penalties? Talk us through, like, as a driver, when you have like penalties, does it put an effect, like mental effect on you? Like, does it? Do you tend to make more mistakes once you get penalties, and therefore, I don't know, start to make a few errors in your racing?
Personally, it's all about not getting another penalty. It's kind of like a reset, and then later on towards the end, that's when me personally, I focus on trying to negate the penalty. Say if I've got a 3 second for corner cutting and there's like 2 seconds between me and a driver in front, then I won't really focus on it too much, just trying to stay clean and consistent and try and not get another penalty. And then with a couple of laps left, then try and like reel in and try and get rid of the penalty, if you get what I mean.
I understand, mate. But congratulations on the championship once again after Saudi Arabia. But we're here in Belgium, Spa-Francorchamps, and 7-kilometre circuit. Little one there led every single lap of the race. Ross, I know even the comments, mate, congratulations on P3. Unlucky, you almost had Craigo in the end, but yeah, he picked up those penalties. I don't know what happened between you and the Red Bull, but yeah, congratulations on your season, Ross. And I know you had that win at the Dutch GP and a few podiums now and then, and I think you had another win as well at the Mexico Grand Prix, so not a bad season. You had a few retirements now and then, and that's probably cost you big points, especially towards Mazel's as well in P2 the championship. So if you try and reduce those mistakes and retirements, I dare say you would have got P2 the championship. So Ross, continue with your great pace, just work with your consistency as well and your strategy course, and you should be up there because you've definitely got the pace. So congrats on P3 and on P3 the championship top 3 as well. So you kept dragging on speed behind for quite a long time as well, that you didn't make that mistake, and you put Craigo on his toes as well. So Close, you got any questions for little one?
So just a quick question. Did you feel the kind of tire life going out towards the end on your like hard stint? Like, can you give us a bit of an insight? Because I would have thought that the tires would have been dying out a little, you know,
Little
or
one.
did like just last out that a little bit longer.
So we'd done a little bit of prep, obviously with the short amount of time that we had, and the hards felt really good with the tyre wear. And then during the race, I had a bit of a delta to stick to mentally. And I was always around 3 or 4 tenths off the current fastest lap on the hards. They started to fade a little, but then I kind of got like a second life with them, which was quite handy. And then just as the rain was starting to fall, then I felt them fall off the cliff.
Yes, it's a lot of people say that the hards kind of have a second life, you know, like in the first, like maybe say like if it was like a 100% race or something, in the first like 10, 20 laps they would start to go off, and then you would get back into them. It's really unusual with the hard tires as well, but because you would have thought, oh, as soon as they start dying, they die, you know, like they die off instantly, kind of thing. But this is it's not really a question, but it's like a thing, like a kind of point. Like I know you ever since I've been commentating anyway, you've had quite unfortunate and unlucky races, but this is the kind of drive I expect from like a champion, you know, leading every lap kind of thing. But yeah, it was a really good result from you, mate, and
thank
well
you.
done on the championship.
I appreciate it.
Also, the last my first appearance here in Tier 3 was, I think, at the Dutch GP. That's when I first... yeah, Dutch GP. So, I'm not talking about your instance, little one. I was talking about me coming here Tier 3. Because I just looked at the results, and I could see you were tired as well with Mazzles as well. But I was first introduced here at Tier 3 at the Dutch GP with Head Bompia, but Head Bompia couldn't make the whole of the races due to PSGL and other things as well he's got going on. So I wasn't here throughout the whole of it, but ever since I've been here in Tier 3 and in Tier 4 helping out too, it's been a massive pleasure, and I just want to thank all the drivers for giving me a warm welcome and nice comments towards me every time we end the stream. So I just want to say a massive thank you to Tier 3 to allow me to comment for you guys. I know you needed it as well, so I'm really happy to do so. And Glowstick, in the last few races you've joined me, I think, was at the Mexico Grand Prix. So you've only been here for 3 races, but still, these 3 races, it's been a pleasure to commentate with you.
Yeah, same here, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm hoping that I can commentate again next season.
It's just emotional round-off now as Tier 3's done and dusted, and that is it for racing. But don't worry, folks, we're back at Tier 1. There's still a championship to be decided at Tier 1 between Tony and Doralen then, so make sure you join us for the Belgium Grand Prix at 8:30 on Thursday. Who will win the Drivers' Championship? Will it be the Frenchman of Aurelien or the Argentinian of Tony? Which one will come out on top? Aurelien has the upper hand, but the points got reduced due to a Celtic race at Saudi Arabia. So tune in for that one at 8:30 on Thursdays. But for Tier 3, we're done, and we'll see you all whenever. Thank you so much, Glowstick and Little One.
You're welcome,
thank you.
mate.